Baby, stop stealing the fruit from the tree. It's not ready yet. You gotta wait until it's red. That's what Giselle said. Baby, get out of that tree. My gosh, if you got a Filipina from the village and you're walking along the street and that chick sees any type of tree that's a fruit-bearing tree, you know what she's gonna do? She's gonna try to climb that tree, get some fruit off of that tree, and she wants you to look around and make sure the owner's not coming. I mean, seriously, look at this shit. Fatima, come on, baby. Come on now. Stop messing with the tree, baby. Okay, you got one to come on out of there. Look at her, folks. She's gonna tear that tree up. Look at her. I'm not making this shit up. You want to marry a Filipina or have a Filipina girl from the village? When she sees any type of free fruit, look at this girl. But you know what? I like big butts in a can. I lie. You other brothers can't deny. Honey, just share one of your berries or fruit, whatever the hell that is. Share one with Giselle, because you ain't shared nothing. I saw you eat every one of them damn things you've been stealing off that tree. Alright, show them right here, baby. Hold up to the camera. What are the name of these things right here? Shit. Okay, what's another example? You've been here living all your life, eating these things all your life. You don't even know the name of them.
Yeah, I just eat.
Okay, look, that's enough. Don't rob the tree of everything on one day. All right, let the tree. I'm in the YouTube business. What do you mean quiet? I'm gonna tell the owner, hey, whoever owns this tree, Fatima's stealing all your fruit off of it. Call the police. Woo, 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 woo. I'm not being quiet because I think you're stealing off this tree. It's not even ripe, babe. Just wait until they get ripe, until they get red. Honey, I'm trying to do a serious YouTube video here, and you're interrupting my flow. Now hold them up just hold them up right there. See that? The thing about it, folks, she just fried a whole chicken and a bunch of vegetables, which she didn't need to because Mercy and Eric are making this meatloaf tonight and a whole big spread of food. They said, hey, don't cook. We're cooking tonight. She went in there and fried a whole chicken. Go ahead, dance all you want to. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. It's on YouTube. Okay, enough of that. I don't even want to look at it no more. Folks, I'm going to tell you this. Everybody says that Fatima was a bar girl and I got her out of a bar. Well, you can believe what you want, but if you know anything about bar girls, the minute you see this girl dance, you know 100% she ain't no bar girl because she has zero, absolute zero dance skills. She has no rhythm. She's worse than a lady boy trying to dance like a woman. There we go. Lock that focus in. A lot of these cameras, well, at least my camera will focus hunt if I'm wearing shades or if there is a window behind me. It will focus hunt and stay out of focus. So the best thing to do when you're doing a talking head video, I guess I would probably say with any camera, is to put the box around that person but then lock in the manual focus so it doesn't focus breathe. Alright, I'm going to ask one more time. Fatima, can you please just go back in there and go away so I can try to talk about the subject I'm trying to talk about? Well, go ahead, shake your too, because I mean I'm sure people will like to look at that. Go ahead. You're on the camera. Go ahead. Let me know when you're done dancing. Okay. Now, any of you players who have ever been in a bar in Southeast Asia, does this chick right here look like a bar girl? Honey, you're worse than dudes doing the robot back in 1980. I am drinking cold San Mig Light, watching penguins. No, they're not penguins. They're Pigeons. Somebody over here has got a bunch of racing pigeons, and you know, they exercise them. They fly around, and then you do a clap, 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 clap. They come back down to the roost, whatever. And I was talking to some folks the other day about their racing pigeons. A few weeks ago, they had a pigeon race, and what they do, they give the pigeons over to a truck. The truck took these particular pigeons in this particular race down to Samar. Now, folks, Samar is, I don't know, it's about a couple hundred miles, 150 miles south of here. I don't know exactly what point on Samar, but they took the pigeons down there, and they released the pigeons all at the same time from Samar. And what they do is they attach a code to the pigeon's leg or whatever. When the pigeon flies home, because they will always go home, right? They're going home, and I'll explain that in a second. But as soon as they get home, there's a code on the pigeon's leg, and what you do is text that code to the big boss of the race, and once you text that code, he knows your pigeon is there and you're not bola bola, and you win. And they're betting money. You know, it's like 5,000 peso purse, $100, $200, whatever they're betting. I've talked about pigeons before because they're an absolute nuisance if they kind of roost on your place, but they're very incredible animals. I recommend you watch a documentary on pigeons, because scientists still don't understand exactly how these pigeons know where to go. Some say that they navigate by the stars and the celestial bodies. Some say it has something to do with the magnetic field of the earth. Some say they're navigating by geography. They're very interesting animals that scientists do not understand. Now, two things. Their respiratory system is like one of the most efficient in the animal kingdom. So say a pigeon was a human. Let's say humans can run a marathon, which is what, 26 miles? Is that right? Say that, well, let's just pump it up. The average human can run 30 miles before he's got to take a fucking break, right? Well, a pigeon, because the way their respiratory system operates, it's much more efficient than a human. So a pigeon could run the equivalent of like 250 miles before the joker starts to get tired. That's why they can fly long distances without having to land or roost or get tired. Their respiratory system, the way it works, and I'm not a pigeon biologist, so check out a documentary on pigeons. And if I could find I've watched a bunch because they're so fascinating. But learn about their respiratory system and their guidance system. So scientists, what they did to try to figure out, they attached GPS transmitters and little micro cameras to these pigeons, right? They took them out in a truck, 100 miles away from where their home is. Oh shit! And they let them loose. And they looked at the data. He's never been to this area before. So let's just use the Philippines for example. To the top of Luzon, to Tuguegarao, and let him loose. He's never been there before. He doesn't know where he's at. What these pigeons would do is start making these orbits. And they would make the orbits wider and wider and wider. And I'm not making this shit up. They're not making this shit up. It's backed up by the GPS track of what they did. So you would let them loose in an area they'd never been to. Their home is Angeles City, so they obviously need to fly south. They would do these concentric rings until all of a sudden, bing, they knew which way to go, and they start flying south. Like magic, like they have this built-in GPS. They can't explain it. Scientists still cannot explain how a pigeon knows how to get back to their roost. So they would do this experiment too. So say the first time the pigeon was released in an area that he didn't know, say he started making these orbits, and he had to make like 8 orbits before he like all of a sudden, oriented himself, you know, got enough satellites in his brain where he knew exactly where he was, and then boom, made a beeline for the crib, right? Well, when you release the pigeon the second time, this joker makes 1 orbit, and he's like, oh, know where I'm at, I've been here before. Boom, beeline down to Angeles City, his home roost. So they can't figure it out, but basically you cannot get a pigeon lost. For whatever homing device in their brains, their electro activity, whatever's going on in their brain, whether it's like a built-in GPS or they're navigating by the sun and the celestial bodies, or somehow or another through evolution, they have the world's continents embedded in their brain. I don't know, because scientists don't know, so I probably don't know either. So the other thing interesting about when they're racing these pigeons, what they do to make the pigeon fly faster, I mean, this is absolutely fascinating to me. Okay, the pigeon has a chick, I guess, for life. Like they're monotonous or monogamous. Well, it's the same, right? The pigeon boom boom's the same lady for life, right? So this is his wife, and he loves his wife. So you got the pigeons together. Now, like before the race, they take the male pigeon, who's going to be the racer, right? He's in a race, and they put him somewhere where he can't see the female. So this joker like paces back and forth. Where's my wife? Where's my wife? Where's my wife? Right? You know, where's my lady? Where's my lady? And they let that dude start worrying. I think he's actually a little bit cruel, but whatever. He's starting to worry. Where's my wife? Where's my wife? So say 2 days before the race, they put the male pigeon with the female pigeon, and he's so happy. Oh my God, I'm with my wife. Oh my God, life is good. Life is good. And they leave him there. And like right before the race, they go in there and grab this poor bastard and throw him in a truck, in a cage, and he's all blacked out. And all he can think about is getting back to his wife. So if you're in Angeles City and you take that to the northern tip of Luzon, to Tegucigalpa, and let him go, all he's thinking about is getting back to his wife. That's why he flies at a faster rate of speed than if that wasn't the case. So you let that pigeon go, he's in a race against himself to get back to his old lady, because he loves his wife. So the people who let the pigeons out at the unknown location, they take, you know, secret codes, just numbers to their legs. The pigeon shows up back at his crib. He's so happy, you know, I'm back with my old lady. I'm so happy. And then you take the little number off, you text it to the Grand Marshal, and if you're the first person to text in the correct code, you win. But they're very amazing creatures. One of the most, I think, mysterious and amazing creatures in the animal kingdom, due to their ability to fly long distances. In other words, their efficient respiratory system and their advanced guidance system that nobody understands. And I have no idea why I started talking about pigeons. No, wait a minute. Yeah, I do. Because you know what? Somebody's flying their pigeons around. Oh, here's another thing too. Now, I don't recommend you do this because you're the pigeon master or whatever they're called, right? But what they do, they let the pigeons go, and to exercise them, they fly around, and I think they have like one main pigeon that they follow, whatever. Maybe he's not actually a homing pigeon, he's like a training pigeon. I don't know the nomenclature for they follow. But just to prove the point that I can call the pigeons, if the pigeons come over, if you just go and start clapping, the pigeons will land on this damn balcony right here. You don't want to do it to the point that they do land, because you may a total train of thought and they don't want to go back, and now you got pigeons shitting on your balcony. I don't recommend you do it. But we were on the penthouse suite, and I told Fatima, hey, I know how to call the pigeons. She's like, you don't know how to call a pigeon? And I'm like, the pigeons started to land, and I'm like, get here, I shoot them off, you know, because I don't want pigeons hanging out, shitting on a balcony. There's your block of instruction on pigeons. I recommend you watch a documentary about them. They're absolutely phenomenal creatures. It's coming around again. There's probably, I would say, 20 of them. You know, they don't go very far. They just fly some racetracks around here for exercise. And then you see them, they all just like slowly go down to the dude's backyard over there. So that reminds me of a story. My grandfather, great man. He was a wonderful man. I mean, he would give you the shirt off of his back if you needed it. He'd help anybody. He was a carpenter slash builder by trade, and when he wasn't working on a project, he had a shop and he built chairs, swings, like glider chairs, you know, anything that he could put together in his shop and take to the flea market and sell. He was just a good man. He was a good person. I miss him dearly. Thanks to him instilling values in me at an early age. I had a wonderful childhood, going to church, mostly because of my grandfather. If it weren't for my grandfather, I'd probably be robbing banks right now and be in prison. But he had a couple rules. Now, you know, you live on some acreage, right? And you can say he's a farmer, but really he's not. He's got chickens, he's got, you know, we had a couple pigs, maybe one cow. You know, like a typical homestead, what they call it these days. And but it's basically just living in the country, right? Everybody in the country's got chickens, a couple pigs, and all that good stuff. So my grandfather had a rule that if a stray dog came up, the stray dog was welcome to stay as long as he didn't chase or kill the chickens. Pretty straightforward. He'd feed you, you're welcome to be a member of the farm, but if you chase or kill a chicken, you got to go. Because what he said was if they chase it or kill it at one time, they're going to do it a million times. You can't break them from it. You got to get rid of them. So many times throughout the years, stories about dogs, right, that showed up and killed his chickens. So like one time he had this dog and it showed up, he fed it for a while, it killed his chickens, so he just threw it in the damn van, and when he was going to town, halfway between his place and town, like 10 miles away, whatever, there was a dump. You know, in the country, the county will put out dumpsters. So you can go to the dumpsters, whatever, throw your trash away. And people would just let the stray dogs or cats out at the dumpster. There's plenty of food there, and hopefully somebody would adopt them, you know. So he put this old dog out at this dump site, you know, like 5 or 6 dumpsters, and went on to town, did his business, whatever he had to do. You know, came back a few hours later, and that dog was on the front porch. That dog humped back to the house, I don't know, like 10 to 15 miles, and beat him home. And he was just sitting there, you know, chilling on the porch like nothing happened. And my grandfather said, well, son, if you came back that damn far, I'll give you another chance. And after that, some bitch didn't kill no chickens, and he got to stay for a while. So that was one like feel-good story. Now I'm going to tell this story, which is not really feel-good. And I'm an animal lover like anybody else. And I'm also a meat eater like anybody else. And I'm also into reality. The dogs that showed up and they were like mangy, whatever, and immediately went out and killed 2 chickens, you had to get rid of them immediately. So one of them damn junkyard dogs that just showed up and started killing chickens, he took down to the bottom, busted out the damn M1 Duran 30-06 and blasted that, right? And just laid them out. Oh, I know that's cruel, but folks, when you live on a farm, animals live and die. Animals live and die. If you have animals that are killing your animals, they got to go somehow or another. It's life. You can't run, you can't have 10 head of cattle and wolves coming in there killing $1,000 cattle every night. The wolf has to go. And so in this case, the wolf was this stray mangy ass dog coming there and, you know, killed $10 worth of chickens. So he got blasted down in the bottom. So grandfather, problem solved. And folks, you live in the country and live on a farm. This ain't the anomaly. This is like just part of life, right? You know, you got to kill coyotes and wolves and everything else that's trying to steal your livelihood. Grandfather goes to town, does his business. He comes back, and that dog has drug himself out of the bottom up onto the front porch, bleeding on the porch, just sitting there like, hey, I'm home. So my grandfather felt sorry for that damn dog, patched him up, nursed him back to health, and the dog got better, and he didn't chase no chickens anymore, and, you know, lived and hung out for a long time, even though he had sustained a gunshot wound to the gut or chest, wherever he hit him. But that gunshot wound taught that don't kill no more chickens, man. But that's the type of person my grandfather was. He did what had to be done, but he was the most compassionate individual you would ever meet. Like in that movie the show Yellowstone, when Casey tells that wolf, you can have the forest, but if you come out here and try to take some of my cows, I'm gonna kill you. I mean, it's just survival, right? It's survival. And I'm sitting here thinking, how the hell did I start telling stories about my grandfather back in the 70s and the 80s when I just happened to look out and see some damn pigeons flying around? I told you, I can't tell a straight story, folks. I gotta set the perspective. I gotta set the scene, set the dynamics, set the stage, set the timing for you to understand anything I say. But I'm the same way. If somebody just utters a couple sentences to me, I'm like, what the f are you talking about? Set the context. And Filipina wife number one, she doesn't set any context. She just blurts out, tempura! What the f are you talking about? Well, the story is, hey, there's a dude coming down the street. He's selling tempura. Can we get some tempura? I got enough money. I'm going to run down and get some tempura. She just blurts the shit out. Tempura! I got no idea. I got my wife coming out here. Now, her name's Fatima, so obviously she's Muslim. And she's got on the appropriate attire. Come here, baby. Come and show them what you're wearing here. Is it that cold to where you got to wrap your head up? Yeah, you're Muslim. That means I can have 4 wives, baby. By law, I can have 4 wives. Don't get jealous. Folks, wife number one, she was trying to be friend number one. I said, I'm okay with that. But I said, I gotta find a new wife number one.
Yeah, I kick your ass.
Alright, so I'm just joking. She's not okay with that. But the fact that I can have 4 wives, she knows I'm on the hunt for number 2, number 3, number 4.
I have a chopper.
Like I was saying.
No.
Fatima, she's gotten to the point a little jealous. You know, I think most first wives, they do get jealous of your wife number 2, 3, 4. Most of my friends in Afghanistan only had 1 wife because they said, no, them eat too much. I don't want 2, 3, 4 wives. The only ones who had multiple wives were the ones who say your brother was married and your brother died. It was your duty to marry his wife because she's a married woman and she has kids. She's tainted. Nobody wants to marry her. So it was like your duty to marry her, even though you didn't want it. You didn't want to, which means you have to support her and the kids, your nieces and nephews, and that's your second wife. Most of my friends, they did not want to have a second or third or fourth wife. They only wanted 1. And the ones who had the second and third and fourth wives, it was out of honor because a family member had died and their wife would have no means of income, no way to take care of the kids, no way to eat unless you married them. And so they absorb them absorb them into their family unit, and then they end up with 2, 3, 4 wives. Again, people have asked me to comment about Afghanistan and what's going on. I'm just not going to. I wrote the words of my thoughts and my recommendations and everything in my book. Link is down in the description. Just go to my Amazon author page. My first book's called Killing Sheep, The Righteous Insurgent. Just read the book and you know how my feelings are. For me to comment right now, I don't want to be some that just regurgitates what I already knew in 2009, 2010 to say I told you so. I'm not interested in that. I've said what the fuck I had to say in that book. It hasn't changed. The outcome in Afghanistan was and is inevitable. Like I talked about in the book, it was a buffet program. How long do you want to eat?